Two, three. Welcome to the latest edition of the Munchies Men Podcast, episode number 100, fellas. 100th episode of the Munchies Men Podcast. Congratulations. Who would have thought we had ever made it this far? Me and Eddie, because, this is our brainchild. Well, actually, it's Eddie's brainchild. Eddie started this a long time ago. This is Eddie's brainchild. This is his baby. The Speaker's Corner. You can find those old episodes on YouTube, by the way. If you want to check those
episode.
out. No. There was a couple. It's definitely. Okay. Yeah, you did a couple.
Oh, yeah.
There's a whole playlist. I think there's like 4 or 5. And
I gotta revisit that.
Yeah,
it's
got some good lo-fi music in the background.
I'm looking it up right now to. You have me at lo-fi music.
Yeah, man. Hold on. It's a playlist on the Munchies Men channel that we get on YouTube. It's called The Speaker's Corner. Eddie's brainchild.
Very raw. I don't know if you want to listen to that, but we 100 episodes later.
Here we are. We've grown.
We just wanted a space for Sevilla fans to talk. It wasn't too much. It's like we have many different fans from all over the world. Even if they're in the same city, many people have different opinions. So just to have that discourse on Sevilla FC, which is one of the most interesting football clubs right now, considering what this team keeps on doing, right?
Yep.
And I'm sure we're going to get into today in episode 100. But Steve, how are you feeling? If I could kick the ball over to you.
Feeling about what? About the podcast? About the season? About
life, man. Life.
Oh. Kid you not, I am burnt out. I'm glad, like burnt out from like all things right now going on. Like the things at home are just like really hectic. Like the school year's winding down, soccer season's winding down. We got tournaments coming up, and I was really happy when the final whistle blew in that game today against Real Sociedad. I'm like, okay, it's finally the off season for this. Like this long ass season is done. But then I was like, oh shoot, like that means we're gonna be like taking this long hiatus on the podcast. I'm not gonna be talking to the two of you, and I'm just like, oh, okay, like, and it's just kind of bittersweet. That's what I'm at now. But it's been a fun ride this season. Joining last year, continuing it through this year, seeing what has come of this podcast. Like we got video now. Like that's awesome. Chris, you were on Sirius Radio on Sirius XMFC, like talking about stuff like that was that was like really surreal. Like I'm listening to you on there. I'm like, holy shit, like this is like just bonkers.
Seeing my name on like my friends are like sending me like pictures of their radio dial, because on Sirius it shows
like in the car,
the episodes, and like there's my name on their freaking car. I'm like, what?
Talking to Eric Winalda, I'm like, oh man, like this is nuts. So but yeah, like it's cool. It's cool
kind of talking to Eric Winalda. I think he was checking his phone most of the episode.
Oh, was he?
I don't know.
I didn't see the video.
He wasn't so engaged in that one, but I don't know. He did ask some questions. It was a great experience. I mean, a great experience for our group. They kind of mislabeled, who we are. They still had me doing like
they got it fixed. If you go back and listen to it again, they got it fixed. They say Munchies Men first, and then
okay, good. Afterwards. Yeah, they had me linked with the Sevilla podcast that I was working with there for a bit too. But but the good thing is they focus a lot on Munchie and asked how we created this little supporters group. So
yeah,
we put that on our last. I uploaded the audio of that recording to our podcast there. So if you guys haven't listened to that, you can. It's me and Eric Winalda, who is a U.S. men's national team legend. Held the goal scoring record until Landon Donovan broke it. Really good player back in the day. I don't remember too much about him. That was before I really got too hardcore into soccer, or football, as I corrected everybody there on on the episode. And then the other guy is like a New York Red Bull or NYFC, one of those guys, announcers or something. I don't know who he is,
NYCFC
but
announcer.
yeah, screw those guys. Whatever. But they're super friendly guys. I've got their contacts now, so I tell them if they ever need anything Sevilla related, let us know because we'd love to continue growing this club, and that's what it's about. And speaking about like progress of this thing, like I was watching the pregame. You know how Sevilla does the pregame shows on YouTube, the live shows, and it's all in Spanish. Everything in there is in Spanish, and I'm like, damn, it would be freaking awesome if we could create something like that next year where we're doing like a pregame show, maybe a half hour before the game where we talk about the starting lineup, just to chat, and tell about what's coming up and what's happening. So I don't know if you guys are interested in anything like that or even a post game. Let me know. It's something that I think would be awesome. I kind of want to work with the team a little bit on that and see if we could actually partner with them. I'm going to talk to Gomez and those guys this summer about creating more English content like that because I think we get the short end of the stick a lot of times because there's some really good stuff. I'm not sure that they give us a lot, but I think that's a good way to grow the club, and I'd be happy to host that thing or whatever needs to happen.
I mean, even if it's something that we do the legwork on, as long as they're kind of spotlighting it and like pushing it out, too, like that would be enough from them, like just to kind of get a stamp of approval. Like that's
exactly that's all I'd like is some notes that they want to share, prior to the game, stuff that they're pushing, injury reports, anything like that they'd be willing to share. Which who knows? We don't have Lopetegui now anymore. Maybe we'll get something, but. Anyway, speaking of Lopetegui, this season, let's get into it. So this season started way back in August of last year. Surprise to everybody, Lopetegui stuck around. Lots of changes. Lopetegui was sacked October 5th, 2022. And our old friend Jorge Sampaoli was hired. 1 win out of 10 games, by the way, for Lopetegui. I saw that stat today. That amazing. People were like, why did you fire Lopetegui? Exactly. 1 win out of 10. Anyway, March 21st, 2023, Sampaoli gets the axe. And we've hired some kind of unknown to the national media, Mendilibar. I mean, people were like, who is this guy? Who in the world is this guy? Anyway, Mendilibar comes in March 21st, 2023. Fast forward, May 31st, 2023, Sevilla, after fighting relegation most of the year, finding themselves in the mid-table, wins the Europa League again for the 7th time. Eddie, how in the world did that happen?
It was written. But, I mean, they got a coach, first off, to save us from relegation, primarily, because after that loss to Getafe, I didn't think we were going to sack Sampaoli, but things were pretty bad. They weren't improving. And it's like, we need someone that's going to help us get through this. So we'll focus on this relegation battle. Like, I mean, Europa League, like we're not even in not even anywhere close European spots. So let's don't worry about maybe not worry about the Europa League, but we're still in it. So thank you, Sampaoli, for your efforts against PSV and Fenerbahce. But we need to take care of this relegation battle. So let's get someone that, that's been at the dumps through many divisions in Spain and bringing one of the smallest teams up to the first division. He must know something on how to manage this. Boy did he manage, because straight away, you think a new manager bounce, say this and that, work harder, just kick the ball up, play direct, whatever. The players are going to listen. But it was actually changing the way it would, like you saw different performances out of players. Maybe I could ask you guys which player stood out the most under Mendilibar, but I think almost everyone played played much better. Obviously, there were players like Goodell that stepped up since the beginning of the season. Um, Fernando, as always, is always whenever he's on the pitch, he's doing his job. I feel like Rakitic was starting to improve since the turn of the year, but it was really this season where I felt like, okay, now I'm glad you came back to Sevilla, because I was still unsure when he came back to replace Banega because he took over the number 10. But Rakitic really showed. Um, he really showed his stuff this season. I think since January he's been really putting in some good performances, and I'm glad he was able to raise that Europa League trophy again with us. That's a picture I was looking forward to see. Him and Navas lifting that picture, because him and Navas and Banega got that chance. It's like, maybe it's a bit selfish to think that way, but Rakitic, yeah, he you could tell he really loves the club. He says that Sevilla is his home. So like, we were only playing with 3 center mids because Jordan has been out for a long time. So it was just Rakitic, Fernando, and Gueye in the league. So Rakitic has been putting in some time in both competitions.
Yeah.
So for him to step up like that, I think it was huge.
I mean, and that's when Gueye
without a doubt, man. Like,
I was just saying, that's when he was eligible to play and not suspended for a red card. So
That
for a while there, we
Ouch.
were only playing with 2 in center. Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, Rakitic to me definitely improved. I think even more so under Mendelebar. But I mean, he led the team in assists this year. It was 6 in all competitions.
Wow.
So he definitely put in the work and performed. And what stuck out to me more than anything, he went 120 at Juventus, and then went 120 plus, so 130 at, well, against Roma, and scored a penalty in the end. So, I mean, this is a 5-year-old player,
Yep. 35.
playing back-to-back 120-minute plus games. Like, so impressive. I mean, I never would have thought he would have been able to perform that well, watching him in the first part of the season. Like, he was always getting subbed in the 60th or, it just, I didn't think he had those type of performances with him. But it wasn't just that he was out there. I mean, he was really contributing as well. So, top notch to him. I mean, without him, I don't think we win that at Europa. Played really, really well. And, you gave Godelli a shout out. Probably our most important player of the year, in my opinion. Stepped in, filled in a position that when we didn't have any center backs, I mean, he had to play there, and he played there for most of the season and played really damn well at that spot. Ended up with 4,419 minutes total this year to lead our team. Like, this is a guy, I think he had 1,500 total minutes last year.
Wow.
So 1,500 to 4,419 minutes, like, so
Triple.
impressive, man. Yeah, I mean, it's so impressive. And then his performance against Roma was even more like touching, I think, because of the news he got, during that week with his unborn daughter not making it, unfortunately. So, to have that on your nerves or on your mind, a brother that had a heart attack a month or so prior at Cordoba playing on the pitch, like, to go through all that and still put in the kind of work that he did, man, mad respect for that guy. Like, unbelievable.
Yeah.
I don't think I could have done that. And this shows his kind of mentality and commitment to the squad. So I hope they get him re-signed, because I love that kind of player, that kind of, somebody that has that much heart, no matter what kind of the talent he has. And he scored 4 goals this year.
And those were screamers too. I think they have to resign him. Like they have to work something out, because we have so many holes everywhere in the roster right now. And if we let him go, like, we lose the best player that we have that can like fill multiple holes as needed. Like obviously, I would love to have him play in his like defensive mid, like in the midfield, like where he's like that makes his money basically. But knowing that he can slot in really where anywhere along the back line and kind of hold that down in a crisis moment. That's huge, and I cannot see us going into next season without signing him, especially if we still have a lot of these holes that still need to get filled.
So hypothetically, if we're able to sign Gay, and we've got Fernandez still under contract, and we were able to re-sign Gudeli, do you see Gudeli still playing center back?
Honestly, I would not be opposed to him playing center back.
Wherever he fits in.
Eddie,
I mean, I have him as maybe a fourth midfielder. Maybe put Fernando as the fifth midfielder, just so we know we at least have an anchor there. But maybe see where Gudeli fits in the midfield if he's capable of playing there, as opposed, because I feel like we've seen better performances out of him at center back.
Yeah,
I mean, even before this season. So and we signed that Argentine player, right? Who's coming in the summer, Gattoni. So I don't know what we're gonna do with Rekic because he's very injury prone. So I'm not sure if he stays. But we'll have Nyanzu most likely signing Bade. Apparently, it's done, being worked out. Marcao and Nyanzu. I'm assuming we'll keep both, but this is Sevilla. You don't know what could happen in the summer. But no matter what happens to those guys, to me, Gudel stays. So, I mean,
he's
incredible.
Yeah, without having seen Gattoni play for our team right now, I would probably choose Gudel and Bade as our 1 and 2 center backs at this point, going into next season with who we have on the roster and with what who else are we going to slot in there? We got Nyanzu, who is mistake prone, and we've got Marcao and Rekic, who are both like glass knees, and
a healthy Marcao, I think, probably starts there. I mean, he's a quality player, and we've seen that when he was healthy.
Like, I don't know.
But I mean, what do you do? Like, the luxury there is you have guys that you could slot in if they're healthy, right? Like, you could play Gudeli at center back, you could play Gudeli in the midfield. I think he's better at center back, and I would rather see him play there. But then also, like, playing him in midfield allow him to get forward, and we might see some more screamers from him. So, I don't know. He's a different player. I mean, it seems like he's just something switched this year, and he doesn't seem to be making those same type of mistakes that he was prior. And maybe that was because he was in the midfield, touching the ball more. But I don't know. It's an interesting dynamic. The team's got a lot of holes, I guess, to fill. But to Eddie's point, like, people that improved under Mendilibar, I mean, another guy that comes to mind, Suso. Good Lord. I mean, that guy played his ass off during. I mean, that game against Roma, that really was. I think the Suso, when he came on, kind of changed the game, right? Like, I thought he was super impactful.
I'm glad Mendilibar made those changes when he did. Didn't take the time. It was like, okay, we'll give Brian and Oliver 15 minutes. No, he made them at halftime. I guess because Roma were already resigned. I guess we could kind of get into the game now. But like, going down 1-0, Roma they tried to take advantage of that pressure, but they quickly just resigned and sat deep, and we just went on the offensive. And I think the signal to me was when Rakitic hit the post. It's like, okay, there's got to be more of this, because I know Rakitic always has one of those in him, and that was his chance right there. So it's like, okay, we might have more chances like this in the second half. So for him to capitalize on that and start Suso and Lamela from the off, I think was exactly what we needed, because we knew we had that in the tuck. right? Because I mean, Oliver is not always the greatest in front of goal, um, but he has contributed. So it's not that I'm putting down anybody on this team. I'm proud of every single player on this team, no matter how many minutes they played. Everyone contributed to this season. Every single one of these players. Brian Hill didn't bring it like he did against Juve. Um, Perhaps maybe because Juve defenders were a bit older, so him with his young legs was able to terrorize them a bit easier. But it just didn't come off for him this game. But yeah, kudos to Mendilibar for that early sub. But yeah, just to keep Sevilla turning the screw, and yeah, we don't have the best offensive options, but we always have Jesus Navas. So I don't know why people thought we were losing this final when Mourinho went 1-0 up. What did you guys think at halftime? Like, did you guys have any doubts? Was Sevilla going to do it? Or is it like, damn, maybe that Mourinho record is the real deal?
I don't think I was disappointed when we went down. Like, I mean, I was disappointed. I was really disappointed that there was not a foul called there. I thought it was a foul clearly, but La
Yeah.
Liga, that would have been a foul, maybe not international rust, but I mean, he was pulled off the ball. It looked clear, but
He didn't play the ball, so yeah, I thought.
yeah. But with that said, I mean, I thought it was going to be tough, but I knew we were going to find a way. I just knew. I didn't know if we'd end up winning. I knew we would equalize. I thought we could win, but I knew we would equalize, and we kind of did. I mean, we got lucky a little bit there, but we would have scored there anyway, right? If we didn't score there, we would have scored another time. But that was probably going to go in, whether that was an own goal or not, because there was people waiting to attack it. I think is the way that came off of him. I think it would have probably still been a goal. But anyway, no, I didn't lose faith in this team when they went down 1-0. I was super embarrassed for Roma the way they played, to be honest. Like, I thought they played very cowardly. Faking fouls and begging for fouls that just weren't there from the ref, and the ref did a great job. I thought he missed some things, but I mean, that's going to happen. I thought he handled this really well, even though that first goal was not a goal. I thought the Fernando handball was spot on, right? Like, I thought he was trying to move his arm back and protect it. If you don't look at the stupid still shot and look at the actual video, it looked like he was trying to get out of the way of it. So I thought they got that right. I thought they got the Campos penalty right. I thought they did okay. Like, he got the ball, but then somebody made a comment later that yeah, he got the ball, but he also took down the man afterwards, and he didn't get a lot of the ball. So Campos might have been able to run on it and still get it and score. But all we're gonna hear is Taylor and that stupid handball that wasn't. What else are they got to complain about? It was them laying on the ground all the time, crying and faking and bitching about stuff that wasn't there. Like, play football and you might have scored again. Like, you just stop playing. And I mean, they had that chance, the Balotelli chance, and
Belotti,
sorry. Yeah. Belotti chance. And then the headed effort from I forget who it was. Smalling, maybe
at the crossbar.
Anyway,
yeah, right at the end, right?
Yeah, but that was it. Like, that's really the only time they really gave us any trouble. So
I think the ironic
I
part
don't know.
is
At the end of the game, hit your penalties. Stop pitching.
Yeah,
Sorry.
and there's been a lot of conversations in discourse here about the missed handball, and then for whatever reason, it seems like there's been a lot of drama around the fact that they didn't, like, they called the penalty for Ocampos and then went back and changed it. And it's like, oh, you shouldn't have called it in the first place, yada yada. I'm like, well, you got it right the second time. Like who cares? Like, what happens? Like, the end result was the same. Honestly, I think the ironic part is that the part that they should probably be complaining about the most is when Goodell kicked that guy in the head in the penalty box in the first half. Do you remember that? When it went to VAR?
I remember.
It wasn't Goodell, was it?
I remember him.
Yeah.
Hitting the ball.
Yeah.
Yeah, he hit the ball.
Followed through, Yeah, I think that
Yeah, but the guy, that was
of
Abraham, and he brought his head down towards his foot. That was nothing.
of
I
those
didn't
three
think.
instances that went to VAR, I think that one there was the one that was most likely to be a penalty for either team. And the fact that nobody's complaining about that is just like, really, you're complaining about the ones that are most visible, maybe have the stills that you can manipulate in your favor the most. But that one there, like in real time, I'm like, yeah, like I 100% thought that was going to be a penalty.
I thought the Fernando was going to get given just because we've seen that so many times in the past, and it would just have been our kind of luck. But I mean, I swear, I looking at it real time, I thought he was moving away from the ball. But who knows? I mean, they make up rules on that all the time. They change them. They never get it right. So I don't know what's a penalty on a handball anymore.
Me neither. I honestly, I think referees try to do this in finals more. Not that anybody said this, but like maybe avoid giving red cards or like game defining decisions like a penalty when the game is up in a balance like that. So I don't know. Maybe that was on his mind as well. It's like we're not going to give that penalty because I thought it would have been a penalty as well because like it hit his arm, right?
Yeah,
it did hit his arm. So it's like for some people it's like that's an automatic penalty, right?
Yeah,
it's like 1 + 1 = 2. But
even so, I just want to take a minute to say, can we stop being freaking childs here? Like, there's no sense in going to attack a guy at the airport with his young daughter, his wife. Like, what the hell are people doing? This is a game. Like, it's not your end of your life here. It's a freaking game. Don't go and do stupid stuff, man. Like, it's gonna be okay. Roma's gonna be okay. They got a ton of money. They'll be back in another final. Your life's not gonna end tomorrow because of some ref not giving a stupid penalty. Like, come on, man. Like, it's not his daughter's fault that happened. So don't bring her into this. You could have got her injured and she was traumatized. Like, that was pathetic. And it just makes me hate Roma. I mean, it really does. Seeing that kind of embarrassment makes me hate their fans. I don't know. I know one Roma fan. Seems like a good dude. I don't know, but I mean, he even sent me the still shot on the screen, on a text message, and I'm like, okay, like, what do you want me to do? You want me to send you 3 shots of you missing penalties? Like, do your job, and you would have been right in it. Like, come on. Anyway, I'm hot on that, man. But anyway, back to the game itself. We go to penalties, right? What were you thinking then? What were you guys thinking?
We won. The moment went to penalties.
You thought it was over as soon as we get to penalties.
Knowing who we have in goal and the last 24 months that this goalkeeper has had for us and for his country, I mean, he's pretty much single-handedly eliminated Spain from the World Cup in the exact same manner that we advanced or won the trophy in this final here. I knew in my heart at that point that we would win this. The 5 minutes or the 13 minutes of second half extra time stoppage time was a nail biter. I thought that for sure we would let one sneak through there. That was hectic. But the moment that final whistle blew and it was going, and I don't know how it worked out this way, but we were shooting like right at the goal, right in front of the Sevilla supporters. And we also went first. Like, normally that doesn't happen. Like, I don't know what happened in the flip there, but normally it's like
we won both point tosses.
The odds of that happening is just like that's just nuts. Like that definitely favored us as well. And like when I saw that everything was coming together, I knew that we'd have the confidence to do that as a team. And also, I was in the break. I was looking back at the subs that were made, and you've got this graphic up right now. Mourinho subbed off a lot of his players that would normally take these penalty kicks. if they needed to. And I thought that was interesting too. So I guess that's a long-winded way of answering your question, Chris. That I was very confident at that point.
Eddie, same.
Same. I knew that we have a Yasin Bono on our team, and once I seen that we won both coin tosses, I'm like, okay, that's a wrap. That's a wrap right there. And I appreciate Gonzalo Montiel giving us all a case of deja vu and scoring that penalty. Because if there's anything I like about football, is poetic justice. Not that we were deserving of a final. If anything, Roma needed this final more than us, because we were having a disaster of a season. I don't think there's any deserve in football anyway, but I just didn't want to see them win after a final like that. Out of all 7 of our Europa League finals, I think this was the worst one. So I don't want to see that get rewarded. No disrespect to Roma as a club or their fans. I know those fans that confronted Anthony Taylor. That's not a representation of all Roma fans, because there's obviously some brilliant Roma fans, just like there's some horrible Sevilla fans. We know this. So commiserations to Roma. But unfortunately, one team, it was only going to come down to one team. But I mean, Ocampos to have the cojones to do the no look penalty again in the final. Lamela scoring his. Rakitic obviously is going to score his. And Bono, come on, man. Bono coming up with the goods. I mean, the turnaround that Bono has had, for him to become that kind of goalkeeper is like, okay, I'm so glad we have someone like that on our team. So yeah, once we won the coin tosses, I knew it was a wrap. However it was going to happen, it was just a nice touch that it was Montiel scoring the winner again.
It was kind of just, I don't know. Somebody was saying Sevilla needs to be a movie, especially this season. Like, it should be a movie. Like, but for that to happen for Montiel is just amazing. And 3 Argentines getting 3 of the 4 kicks in. Like Rakitic being the oddball out there from taking the penalties, but just kind of wraps up that season. World Cup and then here as well. But it's rare to see a grown man cry, and I saw a grown man cry after that game with the folks that I was watching with. It wasn't me. I was not crying, but football's so full of emotions, and I think we all felt like different emotions throughout that 130 minutes of gameplay plus penalties. It was just. I was checking my heart monitor thing on my phone just to see like what my heart rate was at certain times, and I was peaking at like 150 at times just because we were jumping up and around like crazy madmen. And I said earlier it's just a game, but I mean it is just a game, but god damn it's fun, right? Like, man, it can be just exciting as it can be. Speaking of Bono, man, the save from the Belotti shot, right? Like, wow. You remember the one I'm talking about with the fingertip? Like,
yep.
Wow. Like, I thought it went wide. I didn't think he got a touch, and then I saw the replay and I was like, oh my god! Like, he saved that.
Just a sliver. Yep.
Just a pinky, but it was enough. Wow, just amazing. I mean, the whole game there was just so much fun. It's great to be able to watch it with folks. How did you guys get to watch it?
I just watched it with my 4-year-old son. Like, Eddie, we got to stop doing this. We both wait for the other person to talk.
I'm being a terrible
Go ahead, Eddie.
Question here. Sorry.
Go ahead, Eddie. I
just real brief. Most finals, I watch it from my comfortable abode, and I came in like kind of late, like maybe 15-20 minutes in, just because I was coming in from work. But But yeah, I don't like going out or watching it at a public place, just because. Yeah,
Don't want to see a grown man cry, right? Is that what
exactly,
it
exactly.
is?
It's not a pretty sight, man.
So Steve, you had your 4-year-old with you?
Yeah, well, he was suspended. I don't know. I didn't know a 4-year-old can get suspended from daycare, but apparently it can happen. So we had him with us.
Whoa.
It's been a
Damn,
really
Acuna.
stressful week. Yeah, right. I was like super stressed out at work, super stressed out at home. I took a half day at work. I got done at like noon, went for a run, kind of cleared my mind of everything. Got all situated, and he and I sat down and watched a crazy match. He started crying a couple of times because I was just like screaming and stuff, and it kind of startled him. But yeah, high fives all around, and then threw him in the car, and like Montiel's second kick, I guess, went in. And I turned the TV off immediately. Didn't get to like decompress or anything because I had to go get my daughter from school into soccer practice in like 20 minutes to coach her soccer team that evening. So there was like no downtime. I had no time to like process anything. And then you get home and it's like it's dinner and it's bedtime and it's like and then by then it's like 9:00. I'm like, oh my God, like we won this damn final. Like this is amazing. Like it was so weird. It was so strange.
The guys I was watching with Ryan Moore, that's been on the podcast, and Manuel, who's been on the podcast, and then a couple of Manuel's friends who are, I think, Barcelona fans, but we're all decked out in Sevilla gear this match. But we were all watching together, and Manuel's wife and two cute as hell daughters, dressed in their Sevilla gear, all watched together, and jumping up and down like crazy. And then after the game, we're all like, okay, where are we going? We got to go celebrate. And then Ryan gets like a text from his wife, and it's like, yeah, we got to do something with the kids. And then I'm like, well, okay. and Manuel's like, oh, we got to do, the parenting thing kicks in, and you're like, okay, we'll celebrate later. But anyway, awesome experience. I mean, it never gets old, right? Like this is our seventh Europa League. No, you can't even bring into words like how that happens, or it's unfathomable. Whatever that word. Anyway, but it never gets old, and I think with the tribulations that we had this season, like it makes it even that more special. Just as kind of a reward of suffering for. And no offense to all you other fans out there, I think me, Eddie, and Steve suffer more because we have to come on this podcast and say the same crap over and over again during the Lopetegui and Sampaoli era.
How many times did you apologize? Yeah.
Oh, geez, yeah. So anyway, it was a great kind of moment of relief and celebration, and then seeing like all the Instagram and Twitter posts and the celebration the next day with Mendelebar doing his little flips on the stage, and just unbelievable scenes, and just to see kind of that relief off of these players' shoulders of, oh man, we accomplished something even in a season where we were down. And Lucas Erende at his finest this season, fellas, because we pulled a miracle out that just nobody saw coming. Even the pundits today, prior to the match, they were still Roma. That's who, but of course Roma. That's who's going to win. Bullshit. This is Sevilla's tournament. If we're in it, by God, we're going to win it. So anyway, unbelievable.
We play West Ham. Yeah.
It's been great. Another Europa League. I'm sure there's some awesome stats that I should have had prepared on everything. I think this is Navas's 4th Europa League, 5th overall European trophy that he's won in his career, not to mention his his World Cup, his Euro that he won, and he's back with the national team this time, trying to take to grab a Nations League championship. Yep. I'm assuming he'll be on that. Yep. So I mean, here it is, man. I mean, he's got an opportunity to add just another trophy to a storied career. Speaking of storied careers, not anywhere close to this, I do want to give a half clap to Joaquin on his retirement today. He finished his Betico career. Whatever. Good for him. His trophy cabinet's not nearly as nice as his novices by a long shot. But anyway, congratulations to that guy. I mean, it's a rivalry, but I mean, he was important for that team and for the city of Sevilla. So congratulations on your career. I'm sure we're going to be seeing a lot more of him as the days go on. I'm sure he's going to get a job immediately in media or something, but or a comedy tour. But what else? Anything else you guys want to talk about? I mean, we did have a game today. We don't really need to talk about it. It didn't really affect anything. Quick congratulations. Andalusia teams going to have a total of 5 teams in La Liga next year, top flight. Almeria, I'm sure I butchered that. Sorry.
Cadiz
stayed up. Cadiz stayed up. Granada's moving up. Betis, Sevilla, all in the top flight. By far the most. Well, I won't say by far the most of any province in Spain. Andalusia's got the representation. Good God. This year they were tied with the Madrid province. I think next year will be. It's number 1. I think they have the most representation. So really cool to see. Andalusian teams are top there. Steve, you actually answered the question I asked when the last time that was. I don't remember what you told me, but
it was 2014, 2015. So 9 years or so.
You remember the teams?
Not Betis. That's the important.
Yeah,
part, right?
Betis wasn't there. You're right.
Let me go ahead. Like I can pull it up here really quick.
I thought it was going to be the same ones, but
nope.
I guess
Well, that was the year that Betis was relegated and it was playing second division.
Really? I mean, if you count Segunda trophies, maybe Joaquin's cabinet's
damn, man.
Close. Gotta go for it.
I'm not finding it here.
Hey, but man, boo-hoo on those teams down there, man. Y'all had one job. We were all trying to get Valencia out of here. Y'all could have
right.
Y'all could have set that up. I mean,
all right, here, I got it. 2014, 2015. It was Sevilla, Malaga, Granada, Cordoba, and Almeria.
Oh, that's the year that Cordoba was there. Was there.
Yep.
Wow. I barely remember that. That's been a while back. But yeah, like, did you guys watch the games today? Like after hours, like what drama? Like I was watching on the actual multi-feed thing that they did on ESPN Plus was kind of a cool way to watch that.
Yeah.
And it was just, Valladolid just couldn't get anything going. Nothing. And then Almeria, damn it, why can't I say words today? Words.
So the wine you're drinking, man.
Yeah, I know. Thanks Ryan for the wine, by the way. Almeria came back and tied it like late with a penalty. Which went to VAR. Did you guys see that one? Like it went to VAR.
I did not see that.
Oh my god! So evidently, I didn't see all the other ones, but the ref gave 2 prior simulation cards. People diving in the box in this game. He gave a third there to this other guy, and it was a clear penalty. But he said he dove, and then it went to VAR, and they reversed it. So he didn't get it immediately. And then he steps up and nails it. So, nice. It was a funny game because after they were playing Espanyol or Getafe, they were playing Espanyol. After they went up 3-2, they cut to an Almeria fan and he gave the double bird to the camera, like. And his girlfriend was sitting right beside him, and she started like slapping his hand, and like it was funny. But then after they scored, like they cut to him again. I'm like, that cameraman's gonna get fired for that, man. What are you doing cutting to the same dude? But there's nothing like that kind of like that last day of the season and just seeing heartbreak and tears on one side and tears of joy on the other. It's just so amazing. And I was hoping Valencia was gonna cry today, and they could have. They went down early. At one point they weren't bottom because Valladolid couldn't do anything today, but they were close. If they would have scored, it would have been an interesting affair for a bit. Yusuf Musa was sent off for Valencia today, by the way. U.S. men's national team fans out there. Stupid challenge. It was like 3 minutes after he came on, too. Just a dumb challenge. He got sent off. Anyway, can you imagine if that happened and then they got relegated? That would have been bad. Anyway, guys, what do you think in the offseason? What do you think's coming up for this team? Do you think Mendilibar's back?
No. I don't.
Eddie?
I hope Castro doesn't mess this up, because he was very opportunistic and tried to pressuring him into taking the deal, announcing it like that. I mean, we were all thinking it, but he didn't have to say anything. Hopefully they don't mess up this summer. I mean, like, after what happened in the last 12 months, 10 odd months, like, sheesh, come on, guys, let's learn from this and do things right this time. But I see him this time. The other side of the summer.
Yeah. I want him back. I would like to see him back for at least another 2 years. I think him coming back for 1 year is not long enough to really settle in. I think that if we're gonna be serious about him on the touchline, then we need to have 2 years there. But I'm not optimistic that he actually wants to come back. I think, Chris, I answered a Twitter question of yours a while back about whether or not Monchi was coming back, thinking I was answering whether or not Mendilibar was coming back. So I crunched a bunch of numbers, and this guy's been coaching since 1992 in not top flight, but like for senior level teams since 1992. And he, at the beginning of next season, he'll be 12 and a half years older than the average La Liga coach going into the season. And if I were in his shoes, I would hang it up. Like, I would fade off into the sunset, and I would enjoy my retirement that I've worked 30 years for at this point. And if Castro pulls any kind of BS to try and manipulate this situation at all, like, Mendilibar's got all the power in the world right now, because he can just walk away and have a great career. And he doesn't strike me as the kind of person that's going to put up with anything either. Like, if he doesn't have a situation that he's not comfortable with, he's not going to just go along with it. So I'm not optimistic that he'll be back. I'm not counting my eggs before they hatch in this situation.
It's a good point, and it's kind of makes it more valid when you figure out what was posted on Twitter today. Like, somebody went back in history and found like an interview he did like 3 or 4 years ago. I don't remember exactly what the date was on it, but he said, the one thing that he wished he had from the career was a championship in the top flight of some sort, and he's got it. So bucket list is kind of complete as far as his football career is concerned, but he's never coached in the Champions League, which, I mean, if you're competitive, if you're a competitive manager and you want to see where you compete against the very best, that's your opportunity, right? So I could see him coming back for that chance. And maybe he will. I don't know. I think it's up in the air. I don't think it's as solidified as I thought it was on May 31st or June 1st. Or June 2nd, whenever the celebration was. I don't think it's as concrete as it was, but I don't know. To be determined, I guess. I was even like, the way Monchi came out of the celebration and was like chatting, like I was just expecting him to say, "All right, guys, I'm done." But I was like, "Okay, that can't be the time you would announce that." But I, I hope Monchi's not done. I think if anything, they need to give Monchi the keys right now. Do what you got to do to get this club back into position to compete for years down the line, not just next year, but years down the line. And I think there's a lot of changes that has to still happen for us to be competitive for multiple years.
Yeah.
And I think that starts also in the academy. I think they've got to start looking at ways to strengthen that academy. Whatever that is, I have no idea how. I mean, facilities, I don't think that's the answer. I mean, it might be, but I don't think facilities. I mean, I've been to that facility. They have great facilities over there, and they're wanting to invest more. I don't think that's the reason, but maybe it is. I don't know.
I think a lot of the facilities investment too is from the women's side as well, with the growth of the women's game in Spain. So that I think that might factor into it a lot as well.
Maybe. I think what they were kind of touting, but I mean, they were talking about like a hotel kind of complex on site for like foreign kids, I guess, that needed a place to stay and still play in the academy. I don't know. There's a lot of stuff on the table, and but that's neither here nor now. I think there's a lot of things they need to do. I think Gudelli's key to this. I think we need him back just for leadership. It'd be interesting to see what Navas does. Rakitic even too. I mean, what else is there for these guys? More hamstring pulls. Like, I mean, what else has Navas got to accomplish at this point? And he's got another year on his contract, but I don't know, man. To Steve's credit there, like what else is there? Like right off in the sunset. But
I mean, don't get me wrong. Like I think that Navas, I think that Rakitic, and I think that Mendilibar can all perform at the level that they need to be successful in this league still. I don't think that just because they're getting old for their relative positions, or maybe not getting old, they are old for their relative positions, or respective positions rather, that's for some reason like we need to move on from them immediately. Like, I'm not trying to make that argument. I'm just saying if I were in their shoes, I'd think long and hard about this, because accomplished a lot, maybe it's time to hang it up, and I could not fault them for that.
Yeah, I get it. We'll see what happens. The Rayo manager came out and said that he had no agreement with Monchi. He didn't know where that statement came from. So that could just be him like downplaying the issue, but he did make that statement at least. So
yeah,
that's out there. I don't know. It's going to be a fun off season. I think we're going to be chatting more than we did in prior off seasons, and
hope so.
I just hope they give Monchi the keys to the castle and say go for it, because I think him and his team can make it happen. But if he gets any crap from the front office about budgets and I don't want to spend that or anything like that, and then we got some issues. But Castro's, man, he gets flack. A lot of people were want Castro out, but I mean, this is his 5th Europa League since he took over for Del Nido, and that's an impressive record, right? I don't know how you can argue against that. Even in a down season, they figured it out, and he's got to get some credit for that.
Yeah, the entire situation is just really complex. Like I don't pretend to understand any of it really. It's so out there. Yeah.
It's a movie. It could be a movie. It really could. Just the actual boardroom drama itself it's a Ted Lasso episode. Anyway, hey, before we get off, guys, I wanted to kind of just talk a little bit about Monchi's men and the forum and kind of what we did this year. So we got 43 new users this year, folks that signed up for the account, for an account on Monchi's men. Doesn't sound like a lot, but guys, remember, this is Sevilla FC fans that only speak English pretty much coming onto this forum. So we're a small sliver of the greater good there. 28 of those, which just kind of surprised me, 28 of those actually made some sort of post, which that's pretty good. That's over 50%. And it's, it can be intimidating to go to a new place and make posts. So thank you guys for signing up and joining the forum, and feel free to post more often. We love conversations from everybody. And anyway, 11,200 total posts this year. Pretty good. Anyway,
That's insane.
Just wanted to throw those stats out. I thought it was kind of cool. Anyway, that's just a few numbers that I pulled before the show. But geez, anything else? Did I miss anything?
I mean, I don't know if we mentioned it anywhere else, but like Sevilla Atletico, like winning 5 straight, like nunca se rinde, all right? Like, let that be a lesson to you in life. Nunca se rinde, man. Like, just look at Sevilla and what this club accomplishes. Yeah. I mean, even if after the run of like 06, 07, I didn't think that the team was going to win much after that. Maybe work towards something, maybe a Copa del Rey, but the 3-peat with Emery. I mean, sorry, the Copa in 2010, the 3-peat with Emery, making it to Champions League regularly, 2020, now 2023. And come on, man. And the run we had this year, like, come on, we should have lost to PSV, right?
Yep.
Like Ocampos
all the way to the final, and our captain
Ocampos came back from his
entire competition.
Yes. I mean, if there's a poster child for the Europa League or for that trophy, it's Jesus Navas. Emphasis on poster child because he still looks like a child, man.
Sure does. I'm glad you brought that up because it did slip my mind. He did win player of the season for Europa League.
MVP of the season.
They announced that today. And then Rakitic, Acuna, Bono, Navas.
That's it.
All made team of the season for the Europa League. So congratulations to those guys. Enjoy their off season, man. Like, get healthy. Marcao. Get your stuff together, man. We need you next year. I know he wants to play. He's itching to play, but gotta get healthy, man. Yeah.
He came in the.
It's amazing.
Marcao came in the final, didn't he?
Yeah.
Yeah.
He came in for
like
Jesus
a cameo.
Navas. He came in for Jesus Navas. Well, it was like a cameo of almost 20 minutes once he had the stoppage time there towards the end of this.
Was it that much?
Yeah, because he came in for Navas.
He came in at
120 plus 7. Yeah. Goudelli and
I thought he came in.
Goudelli and Fernando came off. Montiel came on for Navas in the 95th minute.
Yep, that's what I thought.
Marcal and Jean Jordan comes in on the 120 plus 7 for Fernando and Goudelli. And I know all the guys we were in our room like looked at each other when Jordan came on. We were like, oh no. No, not Jordan.
I don't want to say it, but hey, we're all thinking it.
It's only 2 minutes, but yeah. Anyway, luckily we escaped barely, but another. We're basically a DJ Khalid and another one. I'm hip. I'm still hip. Anyway,
this shouldn't, like, 7 times. Like, we're extremely spoiled by this club, man. It's like, what? Like,
never losing.
I mean, except when we're hosting it in the final in our stadium, but that still didn't mess up the record of, like, beyond the quarterfinal run.
Yeah.
So
it's
just incredible.
So we got Champions League coming up. Do you guys care who we play in the Supercopa?
I think it'd be really cool to play Manchester City and have it be a like a group stage from last year rematch. How often does that happen, right?
Whoever it is, man.
It's a rematch either way, right?
It's yeah, rematch of a
I mean,
final or
Oh yeah, okay. I was just saying,
Semi-final,
what
yeah,
are you
final
talking
or,
about? Like from group stage? Yeah, no.
I don't particularly want any part of Man City. Holland makes me like
oh
sweat at
yeah.
night thinking about having to face that guy again. Like, come on.
No, yeah, Man City. I want to see Marcao go up against Holland. Someone has to stop this guy. All right, like Kunde and Diego Carlos couldn't do it. They had to pass the
No.
baton to Marcao. Marcao could get it done. I believe
Let's
in
hope.
Marcao. He has that presence, man. He
It'll
knows.
be a
He
first game
knows.
of the year
He's a
too,
beast.
so no game time on his legs to have him be hurt. So that'll be prime opportunity for him.
Hopefully he's there. Well, yeah, let's hope. He's got a few preseason before that, I'm sure.
Oh,
I just
man.
jinxed him. Damn it.
Preseason in Sevilla. Who knows what's gonna happen?
Yeah, man. Well, we know we're going to be in Detroit, San Francisco, and Guadalajara, Mexico. So I'll be in 2 of the 3. Hopefully, some of these other guys will be in one of the 3 at least. I don't think I'm making Detroit. I don't think that's going to work. But I'm still working on details on like tickets and all that crap, like where we should sit, if we can sit together. I don't know. So little like information comes out, but they have been a little busy winning Europa League, so I haven't been pestering them. So now that that's over, I'll start sending some messages out, seeing what I can come up with. So anyway, fellas, another one. It's
Happy
been a
100.
pleasure. It's been a pleasure. Congratulations to everybody involved, all the guys on the Monty's Men Forum for sticking with us all the year long, for listening to us ramble on about Sevilla, even when we were losing like crazy with Lopetegui and Sampaoli, and then coming back here and celebrating another title and trophy. And we appreciate everybody listening. It really does mean a lot when you actually tune in. I mean, it's a special group of guys. I said this on the Sirius XM because they were like, why in the world does somebody not speak Spanish love this team? And how can you not love this team? I don't understand it. I don't know how any neutral out there watching that game on May 31st was like, oh, I'm going to be a Roma fan. I don't know how you could do that and not be a Sevilla fan. Like, watching that match, I'm sorry. Like, the fans, the Tifo was incredible. Like, the run to this, like, it happens every time. It's we always knock off the Giants. So, guys, vamos mi Sevilla.
Vamos, campeón.
Y nunca se rinda.